It's over, people. The trial of Ksoo, the biggest trial in Jacksonville history, it's over with, okay? And unsurprisingly, he's been found guilty. He's been found guilty
Why is
of the
that a
charges
surprise?
in the murder of Lil Buck. He's still yet to face the charges in the murder of Bibby. And look, the whole Jacksonville drill scene are reacting. Duval County subreddit is going absolutely wild. So let's just get into it, man. It's a crazy day. You know, I don't think anybody is surprised to see this result and see this verdict. I mean, maybe Young and Ace. He said that he thought Ksoo would be coming home, but I think the people.
What, Ace? Come on, Ace. I thought you would be like. I get it, that's your boy, but you know you can't don't. I get it. You want to have faith in your boy, like, bro. You come on, bro. It was just too many circumstances that pointed out that he did this, and you thought he was coming home. I get it, bro. I get it, but to think he was coming home, you just this is delusional as anybody else. Bro.
That really knew about this story knew how this was going to go down, especially after the last few days of testimony. You know, when his father took that stand and pointed out his own son, it was pretty much over with. That's what I said in my previous video. But that doesn't make it, you know, any easier to accept the reality that this is how things played out. And the footage from the courtroom of Ksoo receiving the verdict has been circulating on Reddit. It's been on the news, and he is just looking defeated. This is the footage that's been circulating. And, you know, for everybody that knew this story and that knew this scene and knew this situation, you know, it's definitely not surprising. But even Ksoo himself looked like he probably maybe had some hope that he was going to beat
I'm
this.
not sure if it's up to date, but I hear something.
So this is the footage in the courtroom of him receiving the verdict, and you'll see in a moment when that hits.
You feel me? Look at the lawyer. The lawyer look on his face. He's like, bro, I'm ready to go home, go to my family. He probably tired of fighting. He knew that, and that's the thing about it. Lawyers be knowing what they got and what they don't got. He knew this man was going. He knew he wasn't gonna win this case. So he just looked like he over there just chilling, trying to make that face like, oh yeah. Come on, man. I hope he beat this case, knowing damn well he wasn't gonna beat it. But it's a good poker face though.
It's just heartbreaking for him.
Yeah, they might have heard.
I mean, this ain't
Alright, I gotta hit down.
The look of defeat is real. You know, I mean, I really don't think there was any chance that he was ever going to beat this, but seeing it go down and seeing his reaction in court, you know, it just makes it all real. And yeah, it's the last chapter in a very sad story when it comes to the kind of hip hop scene and the drill scene. You know, Jacksonville. This has been a story that's been going on years. You know, I wouldn't say I'm the first person that touched on this, but you know, I was one of the first people to really dig deep into this scene and really find out what was really going on over in those Jacksonville streets. And sadly, you know, this is the unfortunate consequence of you know, of living that lifestyle, man, of really living your raps and rapping about murder and really committing them, you know, really doing the things that you rap about. And I think Ksoo, unfortunately, is, you know, going down as a cautionary tale. You know, this is an extended clip of him just getting that news. You know, his lawyer just looking defeated. Him just looking absolutely devastated.
His lawyer's over
really
there
the
playing.
writing was on the wall.
He knew he wasn't gonna win.
When we saw his father testifying against him. You know, it's just a crazy situation all around. You know, I think anybody that's been following this case, anybody that really kind of knew the ins and outs of this scene and of this story, knew how this thing was going to go down.
To his family,
you know,
at the end of the day.
When you're a friend of somebody that's facing charges like this, you know, it's understandable why Young and Ace wanted to kind of, you know, take up for his homie. You know, apparently he had paid a whole lot of money. He said that he went broke in lawyer fees trying to put up a defense for Ksoo. And this really was a case that was going to be...
Damn, you went broke, Ace? I'm sorry for pausing, but you went broke for some shit that you knew your homie did. You knew people was telling, and you went broke trying to fight this case. Like I said, I shout out to you, but you crazy. I'm not spending my hard-earned money, rap money, you know, to fight a case that I know bro ain't gonna beat. You like, I'm gonna put some money towards it, but go broke is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, Ace, that's crazy, bro.
Be impossible to beat, if you ask me. The evidence was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, even without his father's testimony, you know, you had the dash cam recording of the murder going down.
Broad
you had
daylight.
all of the songs that he had recorded. You had all of the social media postings that he had put up. You know, that infamous post, "Killer N-word and get my toes done," was just one of the wildest pieces of self-snitching that we had ever seen in the community. Honestly, I mean, it was absolutely wild, and it's sad, really. You know, it's really just sad to see how this story ended. This was a guy that clearly was a talented rapper. You know, all of those songs that he made. If you could set aside the disrespect and all of the just horrible things that he was putting out there, he was someone that could rap. He was somebody that had a flow, had some charisma. I mean, again, like, I'm going to get into it in a minute and show you some of the social media posts that have been circulating from the very last stages of the trial. This was a guy with a sense of humor, and
it ain't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for pausing, but it don't. All they do is rap about killing. It ain't hard to rap and say I did this to somebody else. Yeah, I call him slipping. But da da da. Half of these niggas really can't rap. I'm sorry. Niggas can't. Half these niggas don't rap. Can't rap.
Some swagger and some talent. And unfortunately, you know, it really is a waste. You know, it's a real tragic waste. And this ultimately is how that goes down. You know, it's a lesson. You really can't jump on songs talking about these people that you've actually murdered. It's just not something that's going to fly long run. Whether it's whether it's your King Vons or your Fulios on the other side of this war, or Ksoo, all of that stuff, unfortunately, you know, all of that nonsense, this is where it gets you. And it's a cautionary tale for anybody else that's kind of, you know, coming up in the drill music scene. You know, it's you might have a bright future as a musician, but, you know, as a gangster and as a killer, this is really, you know, the only one of two ways that this thing can go. And there was another clip going down that was going around the Duval County subreddit here. And it said, "Just look at his body language. You know that he's sick to his stomach, man. Free Ksoo." I don't know about free Ksoo, but definitely just mourning this situation and just how sad it is for everybody all around. So this is when it was just made official that he was being remanded into custody. You know, I'm not sure this guy will be seeing that outside of a prison cell for the rest of his life. And he's got a whole other murder case to answer for after this, which is just crazy in itself.
For Robinson, based on the verdict of the jury finding you guilty of the offense charged in the indictment in case number 2020 CF 3601, the court does hereby remand you to the custody of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, and your bond in this matter shall be revoked. Now, he is entitled to a pre-sentence investigation report. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then I will be sure to order one. Again, that takes approximately 30 days to complete. So we'll need to come back for sentencing no earlier than 30 days. When would the parties wish to return? I have the week of August 25 or September 2 for sentencing to be set.
So you might as well go ahead and get it over with now.
He's finished, man. He's looking tired.
The same week as Mr. Whitaker? Okay. Are you all available to return the week of September 8th? Keep in mind, Monday would be a to-be-set date, and we would set the sentencing on a convenient day that week for all parties involved.
I ain't gonna lie, just give me
So now we're waiting for the sentencing. You know, nobody is surprised at this news, but let's just take a little look at the reaction on one of the top posts on the Duval County subreddit, because this is humongous news for the Jacksonville scene. You know, this is a scene really that, unfortunately, it blew up off the back of these unfortunate stories of these murders. You know, Who I Smoke, Bibby. And, you know,
that song was crazy.
This isn't the Bibby murder. That's coming next. That's going to be his next trial. You know, unfortunately, he's already been convicted of one murder. You know, really, what is another one to him at this point? But, you know, this was the post. The verdict is in. And people say, which one of you guys put it on God that he was coming home? You know, Young and Ace was definitely somebody saying that he was going to come home. His people, they were saying he was going to be home by Christmas on that appeal. But that's clearly not the case. You know, people are having a sense of humor about this. You know, people are going to regret all of this stupid stuff when they're sitting in that cell for years on years.
Swear to God.
Years. They're saying he beat himself up in the courtroom. I wish I wouldn't just hopped out. That's true.
That's the problem. He was too thirsty. And it sounded like they had a whole little plan. Because they said they followed dude. They was stalking this dude for like 2 months. He was supposed, or a week or something. He was out of town. And it sounded like they had a whole little plan, and Ksoo was too thirsty and hopped out and did that in front of everybody. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I know it's for your brother, Yeah, but like, bro, you could have did this so much better. Like, you should have stuck to the plan that y'all had supposedly was in place. Y'all would have caught that man anywhere outside of where he was. Y'all got back to the hood. Y'all caught him right there. Then okay, then they probably just would have chalked it up as a gang killing. You feel me? You know how they do. Oh, another dead nigga on the secret street. Probably gang violence. But the fact that you did it in that fucking plaza area in front of them people and off-duty police officer, come on, bro. He was too thirsty to go catch a body. Then you stood over the dude and did him like that. You thought you was gonna get away with it? Hey, you feel me? Like, so I don't wish jail upon nobody, but hey, you do sloppy shit, then you gotta face your consequences, bro.
True. You know, and as we learned from the trial, there was apparently a more sophisticated plan to try and get this hit done. I don't condone this sort of behavior.
I don't either, but hey,
as
it
we
is
discussed
what
in the
it
previous video, you know, this was the 1 year anniversary of his
brother.
brother's of his brother's murder. And he just decided to hop out the car and make this happen in the middle of a busy strip mall, in front of a camera, in front of an off-duty police officer. And it's taken a good, 6 years or so for things to come to this point, but it is all over with now. People are saying, who could have seen this coming? Right? Why are people acting shocked? I don't think anybody's really acting shocked. I think really it's just almost like the shock of this thing that's been talked about for damn near 6 years at this point. It's the shock of it. Actually, it's real now. Now it's actually real. For all of these stories and all of the suggestions, it says here in this comment, it says people are saying Ksoo isn't the shooter, but it didn't take much longer to identify his build. For all of the tall tales and stories about how it wasn't him and how it couldn't have been him, I don't think anybody was really buying that. And somebody has actually created a list here of all of the things that they knew before the verdict happened. Okay, it said he went live with the same outfit that he killed Lil Buck in, and he rapped about it, and he took his phone with him to the hit, and he was FaceTiming people during that day. He proceeded to run through a parking lot filled with witnesses and cameras just to stand over his victim. He started calling himself Ksoo, make your face go, after shooting this person's face off. He shot a music video with the very same gun that he would use in this murder. He hinted at committing this murder several times, and he also killed Bibby and rapped about it in damn near every song. Now, they're saying in the comments, look, we knew all of this before it happened. All right. And people saying, I ain't going to lie, he couldn't rap, but still, I actually think he had some potential as a rapper. Some of those songs were hard. People saying Back to Back and Steady Banging are some good songs. They make you feel that energy. People are saying that made you feel that
I'm going to let him say, because
that's energy that landed this man in life in prison anyway. Let's throw the whole discography out. And now, I don't believe that. I'm not somebody that feels like you should, get rid of people's music because of the bad things that they've done in life, whether it's XXXTentacion, R. Kelly, at the end of the day, look, we still might turn up to an R. Kelly song, even though that he is a piece of trash, okay? And at the end of the day, these Ksoo songs, they're lessons, they're time capsules, they're snapshots of a situation of a life that was being lived that shouldn't be followed. There's definitely a few R. Kelly songs that you go back and listen to, and you definitely say that's definitely some of those things that he's putting out there. That's a lesson of not how to conduct yourself in life. And, that's the unfortunate case. These songs are now evidence. They're now public record of a life that really you shouldn't be living. And we're all waiting for the sentencing. People are speculating. They're saying he's definitely getting life,
bro.
If he doesn't beat that other body, he might even be getting the death penalty. Florida doesn't play, and they're saying that he's cooked. People are saying, I wonder how young and Ace is feeling. People are saying Ace is probably feeling as stupid as hell because he wasted all of his money on their lawyers, and they were still found guilty. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Knowing the facts of this case, I would not have put a penny towards this man's lawyer. That post that we just saw a minute ago detailing everything that we already knew before the trial even started, we knew all of this had gone down. Look.
Hey, come on, man. You think it's crazy,
I would have invested my money quicker with FaZe Banks than I would have invested in Ksoo's lawyer. That's all I'll say, man. That's all I'll say.
Yeah,
people thinking he's definitely getting life, it's very sad. I mean, it's really sad for the victims, for the young people that are coming up in Jacksonville. People saying it's hard to feel bad for him. He killed somebody and was self-snitching in every song. He did it to himself. Finally, somebody who gets it. He literally asked for this. They probably would have just chalked it up to gangs killing gangs like usual if he didn't chase it so much and didn't open his mouth.
Exactly what I said earlier. Cause we all know, bro. It literally we ain't stupid, bro. We know that y'all is playing victim, but in real life, bro, if a nigga get killed by another nigga, then a black person, then what it is, they chalk it up. Yeah, they might investigate, depending on how far the family want to go. But 9 times out of 10, they just gonna chalk it up as another gang killing, especially if they know what's going on in the streets of their city. Like, come on, bro. Like I said, they would have caught him anywhere else at the place. I mean, outside of that place that they follow him to, it would have probably been okay. But the fact that he was self snitching too didn't make it no better. So it's just like, come on, man. Yeah, niggas be dumb, bro.
This in the
Y'all be
dead,
too
playing
fanned
the
out,
work.
bro. And
People
want to
said
be
the crime
tough.
was too sloppy, too many moving parts, too many people involved, and too public.
No, that shit
That
was broad daylight.
in a plaza. Police were always going to solve that, and it looks bad when you do stuff out in public like that. Had this happened somewhere off 45th, he probably doesn't even get charged. He crashed the F out on camera.
Yeah,
People
I
are
don't know what
comparing it to the
45th
O
is.
Block
I don't know, that must
6
be a street.
situation, saying, look, if you involve white people and you do these drills in locations where people are conducting business, this murder was happening at a strip mall. People were doing commerce. And I'm not trying to belittle, you know, the murders that happen in the hoods and in the tough environments where, you know, a lot of people coming from these situations live. But at the end of the day, you gotta use your brain. You know, if you in the Duck situation, you went and shot up Dolce and Gabbana, okay? And realistically, whether or not you believe the police are really sticking up for and trying to solve crimes in the community, you know damn well for sure that you can't be catching no bodies outside the Dolce and Gabbana store, and they're not going to go and solve that. You know, this was a bit more of a low rent strip mall that this murder happened in, but at the same time, the cops ain't going to have that, okay? And then he's still got the Bibby case. People saying that he's dying in prison. It's very sad. And it's not just Ksoo, okay? Co-defendant,
Scotty.
an accomplice, ATK Scotty, also was found guilty of first-degree murder. People saying this is just a normal day for all of us, but Scotty just lost his life. People saying real stuff. I'm about to head to work. I'm off for the weekend sitting on my bed chilling. I might even go and exercise. This is the best life. And this, I think stuff like this, man, it really just makes you grateful. You know, I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that I'm not dealing with these situations. I'm grateful that I'm not dealing with a life sentence. That video of Ksoo receiving that sentence is deep, man. I can't imagine what's going through his head at that moment. And I'm so grateful that, you know, I'm not coming from that environment. You know, for everything, everyone likes to say, oh, Ross isn't from that background. Ross isn't from the culture. Yeah, fair enough. But at the same time, look, I don't pretend to be from that culture. I don't perpetuate that I'm from that culture. I don't pretend like that culture's cool. I don't promote that. I don't think there's anything cool about what Ksoo did and what he's facing now. And I'm truly just grateful that isn't what I'm dealing with. And I think everybody, whether you come from a harsh environment or not, we all got to be grateful that we're not in that situation. And at the end of the day, accountability is important. You know, accountability is important. And at the end of the day, Ksoo's got to stand on the things that he did. Not only did he do those crimes, but he made all of those songs. And he did all of that dissing. I mean, there's a funny comment here, not to kill the tone, but this guy said exactly, I'm finna get some pussy as we speak. I'm glad I'm not in the streets. There's a whole world and too many females out here to be throwing your life away like that. Imagine being locked up in a box with other men for the rest of your life and being unable to experience pee. Sucks to be him.
OB, we gonna end the video on that right there, my guy. You feel me? Hey, what dude said, it was too many pussy, too many, you know, cooter cat out here and females out here to be trying to be gangster and not go kill people. You feel me? Hey, that was the case, old man. You feel me? I hope you beat this one. I guess I don't know. You feel me? Like say, hey, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes, bro. I ain't saying what you did it for wasn't right. You know what I mean? You did it for your brother, but hey, it was just too sloppy, bro. You was too sloppy. You was too thirsty. You was supposed to, if y'all had a plan, you was supposed to stick to the plan. Like I said, they didn't make it no better that your pops told on you, pointed you out. You feel me? It is what it is, but like I said, we gonna end it right on this note right here. Hey, what they was saying, don't drop the soap, nigga.